Hey YouTube, it's KJ. Welcome back to my channel if you're subscribed, and if not, welcome to my channel. Um, I was supposed to do this video last week, but I had company in town, and I have a weird thing. I don't like to make YouTube videos around people unless they're in the video. It's just awkward for me. My phone's vibrating. Um, I'm really awkward in front of the camera anyways, but having people like watch me from the background is just uncomfortable. So I ended up waiting until this week. So I'm going to try, I'm not going to make any promises, to upload 3 videos this week. The video that I'm doing today, I put a poll, is that how you say it? A poll? I think it's a poll. Whatever. I put a poll on social media seeing out of 3 options which one I should do this week. So my winning option was I fell in love with my best friend. So I'm gonna get started on that one. This intro is super awkward and super low because I just got back from driving home for 3 hours and I'm a little bit tired. So here we go. So to get this video started, I'm gonna start with how my best friend and I met. In 2013, I met my best friend online on an app called Keek. It's not Kick, the little messagey thingy. It was like a mix between like Vine and um like TikTok, kind of. Like you could upload basically whatever you want. But it was like a 30-second, my bad, 30-second limit to what you could post. So a lot of people just posted like covers and stuff like that. But it was like a social app, so like you could message on there, you could comment, like stuff, pretty much like kind of like TikTok, I guess. But it was the same like basic setup, but it was just like different types of videos, I guess. It was more like a mix between covers and vlogging, like YouTube. It was just shorter videos. So we met on there back in 2013, and when we actually like got close was about 6 months after we met. So it was like early 2013 that we met. And then towards the end of probably not the end, like the middle of 2013 was when we started getting close. And it was about 6 months into our, like, I wouldn't even call it like a friendship. Like we just commented on each other's stuff and we barely even talked. Like it was just like, this is a good video or whatever. Like it was super boring. And then I had noticed she went missing for like a month and she hadn't posted anything. She hadn't commented on anything. So I messaged her asking like, was she okay? And that I noticed she had been gone for about a month and I just wanted to be sure she was okay. And that's actually how we became best friends. So we met in person back in 2014, February 2014. And before that, we had been best friends online for about 6 months. We were Skyping all the time, talking on the phone, texting all day, super close. Um, so finally, I flew out to North Carolina to visit her for 3 weeks. And I stayed with her at her mom's house. And I had a girlfriend at the time. She had a boyfriend at the time. And nothing happened. Like, I didn't even realize my feelings at that point in time because, like I said, I was in a relationship. Like, when I would notice those feelings arising, I would just kind of push them back. Like, it's just because we're so close. Because, like, I'm a really emotional person. So, when I feel a vibe with somebody, it takes me some time to kind of understand what that vibe is. Like, am I feeling like a romantic vibe towards this person? Am I feeling like a super close friendship vibe toward this person? And at that point in time, we were just in that stage. It was our first time meeting. Like, I felt really emotional. We were super close emotionally. So, like, it was, it kind of to me just seemed like maybe I was overestimating the feelings, you know? It was like, I thought I had feelings, but then in my heart, I'm like, probably not, you know, like this is a straight girl that you are just super close with, like don't even go down that path. Because I've been down that path and it's never been my thing. Like I'm not the type of gay girl that falls for the straight girl. So me also being in a relationship, like I'm super, super loyal. So I was like, I think I'm just overestimating these feelings type of thing. Um, so we didn't see each other again after that until 2015. In 2015, I'm not gonna like explain like the whole gist of what happened because that'll take place in a different video that I have planned for this week. But she was in the hospital in ICU, and we weren't sure if she was gonna make it. I'm trying not to get emotional, so I'm kind of like skipping over this part pretty fast. This was back in 2015. I don't know if I said that around Thanksgiving. She was on life support in the ICU. I got a phone call from her mom, and I booked a plane ticket. Then that night, she called me. I booked a plane ticket. Then the day of Thanksgiving, I went and stayed in Fort Lauderdale until my plane the next day. So 2 days after Thanksgiving, I was in North Carolina. Um, no, it was the day after Thanksgiving. So 2 days after it happened, I was in North Carolina by her bedside. I had basically gone into my job and was like, somebody I care about might not make it. They're in the ICU and I can't come into work. This was like 9 o'clock at night. So I put my job on the line because at that point in time, like I didn't give excuse my language. I didn't care. I just wanted to get to her. Like I knew she needed me and I just wanted to get to her. So when I got to her, she was off of the vent and she was talking, but she was still kind of groggy and out of it, you know. And here at this point in time, I think was when my feelings got a little bit more involved. Um, Almost losing her and the fact that I was single, like it kind of boosted, I guess, my feelings, and I kind of started to realize it was a little more than I let on, a little more than I let myself believe. But she had a boyfriend at the time, so of course I never acted on it. I was never like disrespectful to her relationship in any way. But at this point in time was when I started feeling like, damn, my feelings might be a little more than I'm letting on. Um, Again, I talked myself down and I'm like, I'm just emotional because, you know, my best friend almost died. It's no big deal. Like, these feelings are just vulnerability. Like, my emotions are just going crazy right now because of the severity of the situation. So, again, I talked myself out of it. Um, at that point in time, her boyfriend at that time was very, very against our friendship. So, I didn't want to do anything to make it worse because I didn't want to lose her. But basically the whole time I was there visiting with her, like he was calling her 24/7. He was always keeping her occupied so she couldn't really spend any time with me. Like he was really against our friendship, even though at that point in time, like neither of us had openly admitted any feelings. There was no like touchy feely stuff. It was just like cuddling with my best friend type of thing. Like there was never anything that really went overboard to disrespect their relationship, but he was just completely against me because of the fact that I was the gay best friend. So, um, our relationship after that took a turn for the worse, or it kind of like, I would say, fell apart. She got a new best friend. Um, she went and moved in with this guy that was totally against me, and she kind of just like cut me off a little bit. Don't want to get into that because again, that's a super emotional situation. But pretty much after that and me going to visit her, we pretty much cut all ties about a year later. Um, by that point in time, she had ended things with her boyfriend at that time that when I was there to visit, that boyfriend, she had ended things with him. And she had by then met and began dating her now husband. Um, so when she got with this husband, she basically cut all ties with me. Like there was no, hey, how are you doing? Anytime I would comment or say anything to her, like I got ignored basically. So by that point in time, like when she got with her current husband, she had cut all ties with me. We didn't talk for a couple years. Like pretty much, we talked a little bit when I was pregnant. She checked up on me. I checked up on her. Our kids are about like, I'd say a couple months apart. Like I think her daughter is 2.5. My son is almost 2. So it's a little over 6 months of difference. So we were pregnant kind of at the same time. She was at the end of her pregnancy when I was in the beginning. So we did talk a little bit during my pregnancy, but prior to that, we really didn't have any communication. Um, After I had my son, our communication kind of stopped again. And then one day, after my wife and I separated, I had posted something on Snapchat, basically saying like, confess something to me. It was like an anonymous thing. I was bored. I was sitting at downtown Disney and I'm like, why not? Like, what's the worst that could happen? So I posted it, and all of a sudden I get a message on my Snapchat of someone saying, I love you. I've loved you in so many ways for so long. Um, but something along the lines of like, it's too late and I can't tell you type of thing. Um, I just remember like that main first part, like, I've loved you in so many ways for so long. And after that, it was just something about like life had gotten in the way. Like there was a couple messages in there, but I ended up figuring out it was her. So it was this best friend that I hadn't spoken to in like I'd say a good year and a half or so by that point. And I'm like, maybe I'm like way off because we don't even talk anymore. Like this is not possibly her. So I started asking her questions that I could kind of get the feel for whether it was really her or not. It was. So I told her in the messages that I would not say anything out of respect for her relationship. Um, we ended up talking as each other, like before I had told her I knew it was her, like the entire day by that point. Like I was at Disney with my ex and my son, and I was texting my best friend all day. And that was the first time we had talked all day long in a very long time. Like I'm talking like a long time, like probably back when I was pregnant. So it was about a good year and a half before that. And it was on a level like we were when we were best friends, which was several years before, back in 2015. So this was 2020 at some point. Um, Anyways, so I felt wrong, I guess, for like pretending I didn't know it was her because I have like a really bad guilty conscience. So like knowing it was her and having this conversation like I didn't, I felt like I was hiding something from her. So like I brought it up to her cordially, basically like I just said to her, like it was you last night in the anonymous messages, wasn't it? And she was like, maybe. So I was like, well, I was just going to let you know, like I felt the same back in the day. Like I felt the same um after everything happened back in 2015. I started to notice those feelings. Um So it sparked a relationship from that. We kept saying, like, I kept telling her, like, this is really wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. You're married. You have a daughter with him. Like, you guys have older kids from his prior marriage. Like, this should not be taking place. It's not okay. But her situation was very toxic, is very toxic, I guess I should say. So, um, she just kept easing my mind, telling me, like, it's okay. It's no big deal. Um, I'm not as happy as I seem. Like, things aren't as good as they seem. I'm not going to get into all her business because it's not my place to talk about. But basically, it was just a really toxic situation at home. And even though I felt guilty after those feelings were hidden for such a long time, like, it just felt right, I guess. So we had plans to meet. Um, She was planning on leaving her marriage, and about 2 weeks before my plane was leaving, her husband found out about us. It became like a really toxic situation, I would say. He had found out, and it got really heated, and I had to cancel my plane. I had to cancel my hotel room. I didn't get the money back for the plane ticket. Um, so when he found out, she still had, she had told me she was gonna be with me, and that she was still choosing me, like she was still choosing our relationship. But that's not what happened. She chose to stay in her marriage and try to work things out. And I tried to be understanding because that it was my best friend. Like, I'm not gonna force you to pursue something with me if you want to choose your family. Like, you had this family before me. So pretty much, like, it was just one of the worst heartbreaks I ever endured. Like, I cried, like, sobbed for a couple days because, like, he had cut off all communication with us. I didn't know if she was okay. Like, I finally got in touch with her mom. I found out she was okay. I calmed down a little bit, but I'm dumbing down the emotions a lot right now because I'm trying not to get into that headspace again. It was just very, very hard for me. I was very depressed. It was like everything in my life had blown up at that point because I had made a decision, like, I wanted to be with her. I had chosen to take my son and her daughter in and just be a family with her because this was my best friend, like the most important person in my life. And now we had opened up like all of these super, 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 like, really, really special emotions and feelings, I guess. Um, and then it kind of blew up in my face. So obviously, at that point in time, I not only had to mourn the relationship, but I also had to mourn the friendship and all of the past history, the memories, the loss of her daughter. Because at that point, like, if she was cut out of my life, so was her daughter. Um, so basically, it was just like a big blow up. And I can't say that I regret those feelings being out on the table, but I do wish that the situation went a little different. I just wish that the outcome had changed, I guess. I wish that maybe we would have waited until she had actually left to do anything. Until, like, I was sure she was leaving and she had actually started the process of leaving. But that is the story about falling in love with my best friend. I kept a lot of the details out because I'm not trying to blow up her life, and the people who do know her know that this is about her. So, like, I don't really want to put too many details in here because I'm not actually sure how much of it her husband found out. Um, but basically, I fell in love with my best friend of 7 years, who also fell in love with me, and she chose to work on her family, and I lost all of our relationship over the 7 years. Like, all of it went down the drain. So this, kids, is why we do not date our friends. Um, but that is the story of falling in love with my best friend. I wish I could give you guys a happier ending, give you guys some hope. Sorry, didn't happen. But that's my story. Have a good day.